What's up, everyone? I am Nikki Marie. This is Bridging the Gap. I got Dapper J over here, and I have a few special guests, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
What's up, guys? My name is Yhung Sky, coming out of Queens, New York.
Hey, I'm Jazmin Luperena from Brooklyn.
What's up?
Hey, hey.
It's Gold Brick from Wantagh.
Yes. So we got a little bit of Long Island, a little bit of Brooklyn, and
We got the whole New York.
every borough. So let's kick it off with Dapper J.
So I got these phenomenal artists in the building today, and I wanted y'all to give a little background about y'all. Tell people that aren't familiar about you, what you're working on. Tell them how you guys met, and just what future projects you got coming out.
Okay, cool. I am first of all, I'm a rapper, a singer, a producer, a writer.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I've
Hey.
been making music my whole life. I grew up in a musical family. Came to America when I was 8. I've been in Queens since, but I've been in music since I started public school. I went to high school for it. I didn't go to college for it, but yeah. I'm currently working on my debut project. I actually have about 7 projects right now, to be honest, that I'm going to drop on them. So,
Is that this year?
next 2 years. This
like
year,
that.
I'm planning on dropping about 3 this year. The first one, I'm looking at drop it in spring. It's going to be called Concrete Jungle Flower Part 1. So keep an eye on that. I'm also working on an anime that I'm trying to drop.
Nice.
Ivy over here is one of the main characters.
Aw.
Okay.
Nice.
And I met Jazzy. How we meet, yo? I think we were following each other on Instagram first, and then we met. She came out to an event. I invited her to one of my friends' shows. She pulled up and I was like, yo, she's so dope. And then from there on, it was like
Vibes.
Vibes, yeah. Always linking, always performing, creating. We talk about everything from like personal life to business, and we create.
It started to support, you guys supporting each other and then, ending up working together, and that's big for a lot of people, and that's what we're trying to do with Bridging the Gap, right? We're trying to put everybody in a position around like-minded individuals that are also entrepreneurs and working independently and trying to push towards something. And, when I hear about artists and musicians, because I kind of manage a couple artists myself, who inspired you, I should say? Because you said you started around 8, right?
My inspirations at that time, I would say, as far as rap, was definitely Nas, Eminem, 50. Those were like my favorite rappers at the time. Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. I grew up on a lot of soul, a lot of 70s. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson. My parents. Yeah. My pops was a DJ back home, so I grew up knowing everything from way before my time and on. So.
Wow. Crazy. How do you think music is now?
I think everything is like a syncretism of everything that we've experienced in music previously. So nothing is new under the sun. It's just people are putting elements together from different genres and creating something quote unquote new.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of sampling, I would like to say. And that's what I was talking to you about before. I'm like, a lot of people, they just take different music from other older artists that we all may know because of our age, or
Do you think
just
that's like
parents in
paying
general.
homage, though, in a sense? Because
it could be, but at the same time, I think it's just they want to sing on what's relevant.
okay.
You know what I mean? Because I think maybe there's not the relevancy with their own music, so they just
They take
copy.
See, so it's like when I listen to artists and let's say they're doing sampling, right? And maybe you guys can chime in here because I'm not a musician myself, but as an artist, there are people that are going to inspire you, and even if you can't make the exact kind of music it is, using a sample in a sense, I would think that it would almost, like I was saying earlier, it'd be like paying homage, right? So the people that aren't creative enough and are taking a lot versus the person that's sampling, there could be a conflict of interest, do you think?
I think that art has a lot to do with taking other people and paying homage, but you have to add your own twist to it. That's the thing. If you're just copying what they're doing, then it's not art. But if you steal it and you make it your own, and you're like, hey, I'm going to pay homage to this, I'm going to give them the credit and then say, hey, I'm going to add my own flavor to it, then I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's if they're actually giving the person credit. I mean, look what happened with Robin Thicke. There was a whole thing with him using Marvin Gaye's old music.
One thing I could add as the producer, I feel like I never really use samples. One thing, because I don't want to ever run into that problem
Right.
where down the road I have a lawsuit
Right.
for using someone else's music. So I like to keep it 100% from my soul, because that's
Right.
what music is.
Right.
At the end of the day, you have to feel it, and it starts from every single note.
Yeah.
So if that's missing in the music, it's really just like it's not really music.
Right. Yeah.
So Nick, I got a question for you, right? You've been producing. How did you run into this lovely talent right here? Like, tell me how you got started and how did you run into Jasmine?
So it started, I was working with Mikey Links, he's a rapper, and I do a lot of my production off of word of mouth referrals, because I find that when you're just a producer that puts their beats online and treats it like a Toys R Us, like just walk in and pick your beat off the shelf, it doesn't work this
Toys
way.
R Us.
They had a business.
And that's why I don't want to be a Toys R Us. But yeah, no, I worked off of referrals most of my career. Actually, that's pretty much all I do right now. And Mike, he's a rapper I work with. He was speaking with her, and he recommended, he had a lot of good things to say about me. And she came to the studio and we just hit it off. She had a vision.
And also to add in, I actually knew him before Mike introduced me to him, because my friend actually had a song out, and I really loved the production of it. I was like, when I'm ready to make music, this is who I want to work with.
Yes.
So it was insane that my other friend was like, hey, I have this producer, I want to show you him. And I'm like, I know this producer. I'm supposed to hit him up.
Yes.
And then he got me through with a referral. It's
Amen.
magic.
It's magic.
Magic.
Music magic.
So I know, Jasmine, you have some stuff coming out too, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about you. When did you get started? You know, we heard Sky's story. What's going on with you?
So I'm an overall creative. I do acting, singing, dancing, rapping, spoken word, modeling, and I have a vision for like photography and angles. But my first love and passion was acting. It actually was acting. At 5 years old, I did a church play, and I had this scene where I was an orphan and I had to scream at my my foster parents. And yeah, ever since that moment, screaming and hearing everybody's energy and feeling everybody's energy, the connection through the audience, I was like, wow, I want to do this for the rest of my life, you know? And I started, I did my first commercial about 9 years ago, a Bank of America commercial. And that's when I realized, like, you can get paid to do art. Like, it doesn't have to be a hobby. You can do this for your life.
Right.
I've grown up in the church choir. You know, I've always loved singing, dancing. I've loved all the arts. But I was always known for acting. So I didn't think I was able to pursue anything else because everybody just saw me as an actor. So when I came out with my single Different, about 2 months ago, everybody was like, oh my God, like you can sing and you rap and it's good, it's great. I was just like, oh, okay, this is beautiful. I get to express.
And poetry, the spoken word.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, I have a music video out for Different, and it also features my spoken word in it too, through the beginning, through glow in the dark body paint, and I got 2 of my dancing
like
friends.
that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's dope. I gotta check it out.
I think there was a lot of art involved in it. I was watching it, and I was watching with some friends, and they were just like, yo, the angles, the art, everything just looked phenomenal. It was a great video. It showed your creative side, you know, and that's good, you know. I know that you also had a challenge going on.
Yes.
And I want to, a lot of people might have missed it, you know, because it ended recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, it ended, but it's still going on. Because, yeah, I put air quotes on that. So we haven't even chose the winner yet. We're going to choose it on Wednesday. But the submissions for the feature slot and the free beat from Gold Brick have ended. But people are still submitting the challenges for fun. Like, they just really love the challenge. It's called Hashtag OnAMissionChallenge.
Get on it. I seen Sky on this.
Yes,
Sky has
yes,
some balls.
Sky definitely set the tone.
Yeah.
Set the
So
tone.
Nikki
You gonna
does
rap?
music too, so she gonna have one.
We got some
Thank
balls.
Might have to do some balls. I thought we gonna be on.
I thought we was gonna do a beat
I can
challenge.
beatbox.
Yeah. And it also went international too. Like it's only been 2 weeks, but we have people from London, Paris, Canada, Montreal. Like we're mad different places, including all over the States. And it's really just been a lot of love. And the people have also seen a lot of good energy come from it too.
Yeah.
In many different ways. Like people have gotten beats from his Goldberg book studio time with him as well. Yeah. People have also like gotten more followers, and not even just new followers, but the followers that they had, they've seen new sides of them. Because some of them just came out as like, hey, I'm gonna do this. You know, I've been rapping for a while, but I've never put anything out there. So
Yeah.
let me push
Yeah.
this. And incredible experience.
What made you wanna start a challenge like that though? Like something had to happen. You had to talk to somebody.
So I
At
was
least it's
out.
not the Bow Wow challenge.
Oh, the bow.
Thank God.
I was in LA, and LA is a very inspiring place
Yes.
to be as an artist. And I had come out of a 12-hour studio session with my friend, and I just felt like inspired to write about my mission and about how people don't understand how sometimes you're going to be busy because you want to get to a certain place, right? And you're going to be focused, and that's okay because I want you to be focused with me. Like, we're all on this mission together.
Right.
So I sent a voice note over to my producer, and he created this whole song off of a voice note. The whole song, like even if you listen to the link in my bio, the song still has the trail off of the voice note where I'm speaking at the end, and people think it's like such an aesthetic. I just like, okay.
Someone actually commented, is like, we were gonna record the song after we pick a winner with a new, well, we still are, but like the idea was that the person was saying that it sounds so good, the recording with the voice note, maybe not even to redo it.
Wow. Wow.
He's a genius.
We
Mixed
gotta
and
play that.
mastered.
We gotta play that.
We definitely gonna play that and get something over there.
Sky could do her verse on it.
Sky, what's up? What's up, Sky?
How do you guys think about well, actually, since now we're on the Instagram topic or YouTube, how do you think social media plays in the music world? Like, does it enhance it? Is it easier just for everybody to become an artist? Have you heard some stuff that's like really trash? Or people that are not, like, they're doing stuff but not really at that level of Jay-Z, Beyonce. Have you guys
I feel
had
like
that?
social media just gave everybody a platform to explore their creativity and just see, it's like you see somebody do something and it's like, oh, I want to try it too. Maybe I can pop up. And that's the thing about hip hop. I feel like right now, the new age hip hop, everybody wants to rap. Everybody wants to talk about drugs, bitches, and everybody's just repeating the same thing. But
Right.
like, it also, social media, I feel like it gives you the it's like a hub to see who's really good. Like, you got so much saturation, but then like you're able to see who stands out because of that saturation, because everybody's so exposed and it's all right there at your fingertips. So
Right.
I think it's great. I think it's a great platform for every artist to just be on. You know, it gives you worldwide recognition.
Mm.
On top of that, I mean, I don't really like the net neutrality thing and having to pay for promotions and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
dope because it gives you international exposure, it builds up your fan base. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of like podcasting.
It's exactly like that. You know, so I was having a discussion with some of my artists that I work with, and we were talking about, is it easier now than it was back in the day to actually transition into the music industry and to be out there? And me in particular, I can't really tell. I feel like you could throw your CD at somebody before, now you have more opportunity now to do it. I think it's a little easier, but the fact that everybody has an opportunity to do it, it's still, like you said, oversaturated. So it's almost the same thing in a sense, just different elements. How do you feel about that?
I agree partially. I feel definitely, broadened the horizons of people being able to just put anything up on any platform. You have so many different platforms now to choose from, and it's beneficial, but also it has its cons. Whereas like royalties, for example, like you're getting 0.00000 per play. Like you're not gonna make money from that. The only way you're really gonna make money is if you have a fan base. And I'm saying strictly as an independent artist who doesn't have a label behind them or anything, you have to do all of that work to promote yourself. You have to do all this work to content branding and all of it's all on you. Like you are your business.
Right.
So,
But would you want to stay, because I'm independent in a sense, right? So I work with other artists that are independent, right? And we're trying to remain independent because as you know how the business goes, it's a shady business, right? So there's a lot of 360 deals, a lot of people getting pimped. You know, is your end goal to remain independent and determine your own worth, or are you trying to get signed to a label? Stay independent?
Definitely stay independent.
Exactly.
Make my own label. To be honest, I put my music out under my own label, Magic Makers.
You see, and I appreciate that, man, because I feel like the business world in general, right? It's if you stay independent, you kind of determine your own worth. Like you said, you do all your groundwork, you do all the footwork, and you build your own brand, right? Rather than going to somebody that's kind of going to tell you what to do and kind of, you don't need that filter. You know, if you have a message or something that you're trying to get out there, why not present it in a way that you see fit, right? And then build your fan base that way, right? Because if you think of, like you said, everybody that's rapping now, in a sense, they're all telling a story, right? And some people are fabricating it and they're telling a story that they think is appealing, and that's because that's the agenda being pushed, right? But us, we have an opportunity to stray away from that and kind of talk about what's really going on, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, man. Let's get into politics. Let's talk about
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it.
Nah, for a fact, I do. I speak about this with a lot of my artist friends. You know, having a message and using your platform for that message, and not just trying to make it out there the easy way, just pushing that agenda. Nah, if you're gonna be an artist and you are passionate about what you're trying to like deliver to the world, you gotta stake both feet in that purpose and in that passion, and just, you know, go straight forward, do everything according to that, and it comes with also knowing what to keep yourself out of, and knowing where to be present in and where to take your energy out of, and maneuvering a certain way.
Yeah.
Also professionalism as an artist, for example, like Jasmine said, she put out her work in her own recording label. That's you know, that takes groundwork too, as far as LLC and things like that. Like, if you're gonna be a real artist like that, you gotta know the basis of the music business and how to, you know, maneuver like that. Like, read the books, do the research, speak to individuals who are in the industry who can give you that knowledge and work on being that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like being part of the agenda, and then you blow up, and then you get a one-hit wonder, and then you never hear about them again. Right? That happens a lot.
Because I think we've had the discussion many times. We had Tanae on, and she was telling us about the business aspect, right? And a lot of people don't LLC and copyright their stuff, and that's very important, right? So when you see games like Fortnite and people not making money and their dance moves are being used, you know, that's just knowing the business, right? So with platforms like Bridging the Gap, what we're trying to do is educate people on an international level that may not have access and knowledge to this, right? And we want to educate people so they're not getting pimped and used for their stuff, right? Because this thing is deeper than everything we see on the surface, right? These labels know how to do stuff. They know everything that we're involved in as artists, right? And they know that once you sign a contract or you're not LLC and copyrighting your stuff, they know it's very easy to take your stuff and make money off of it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be sitting, this goes down even into YouTube, right? Sampling on YouTube and things like that. People will let you do it, build your fan base, and they'll come and they'll take all your money because that's their stuff. You know, and this is important information that we need to educate people on, because what's the point of having all this knowledge if we don't apply it to what we're doing and help each other out?
Yeah. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the political side of things, I do want to bring up the fact that the Super Bowl was like very recent. And and when when you're talking about planting your feet and going to that path, I think about Colin Kaepernick and the support.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you guys feel about the political world that we're living in, because it's being talked about with artists in particular. I would say Jay-Z. He brought up something about they need us. We don't need them.
Yeah, he said that in his song.
And I don't really know how to feel about it, only because I feel like if he's saying this, but he was there and participating in any part of the Super Bowl, it's kind of a contradiction. But what do you guys think about the climate that we're in right now?
Honest?
The political climate.
I just had this discussion with one of my friends, but she's cool. I met her on my birthday. But she actually owns a really popular magazine, and she brought that up about these celebrities who are supporting Colin Kaepernick, but also they have, for example, commercials in the Super Bowl and things like that. And it's like, are we not going to talk about the fact that you're contradicting yourself? But I brought up a point that in this world, especially in American society, career rules over a person's beliefs, and majority of the time a person will choose to maintain their career and make their money because the corporations rule everything in this world, and it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to get out of and really remain in that path. And most of the times, people who choose to quote unquote unplug from the matrix and focus on unplugging other people from the matrix, they get targeted, bashed by the media and the government, and because they're choosing to divide the agenda, and that comes down to like a deep agenda, like a deep part of the government that it just controls everything. And people I feel are not. People might be aware, but they're not as aware as they realize about how deeply rooted in it we all are.
Yeah. I always say that we are being mind controlled.
Definitely.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
MK Ultra has become a mass thing.
It even stems down to like when we watch TV, right? They had a recent study, right? They were saying they went, I think it was to the Philippines, right? And there everybody was living normally. They didn't really have access to too much TV at the time. And then they recently introduced TV, had them watching reality shows, and in less than a month, about 11%, 11 to 15%, I think people were being bulimic, and that was the biggest thing. And they were showing the impact that once you are engaged in television, it becomes a part of your normal life, right? So if you look at the agenda that was on the TV in the 90s, I don't know how old y'all are, but the 90s versus what's going on now, we went from families to everything being reality TV and side shows and nothing. And if you look at that, that's what everybody wants now. You understand? Like, people are okay with, and you got to understand the agenda behind dividing the household, right? So you no longer have men in the household who are the forefront anymore, right? They're getting locked up. They're caught up in, a lot of people are growing up without their fathers in their life. And the impact of not having that security or that foundation from having a dad, right? So now mothers are forced to take the role of the dad, and they're being put in a position where they're overwhelmed and doing the most to raise their kids.
The most.
And you got to look at it and see, like, understand that those kids that are being raised, the impact that it's having on them when they come up in the society, right? Because this is a trend that's going on now, right? Kids are, jail is a business.
Can we speak about the prison industrial complex
Let's
and
talk
like
about
the
it.
school to prison pipeline?
Let's talk about
Let's talk about it. We got time.
Yeah, because if you look at it, even the same food, not many people know, the same food that they serve in schools is literally the same food that they sell in jails. It's like the same corporation. And there's companies, like even companies that people may shop at, Victoria's Secret, Pink, McDonald's, they all support the prison industrial complex because they have workers that are in the prisons that are making these things that say made in USA, but it's really made in USA prisons. And people don't realize that, and they're supporting these businesses. And like, are we really about what we're saying we're about? If we're even watching the Super Bowl, you don't need to be at the Super Bowl. If you're watching the Super Bowl, you're still adding in plays to that too. I think that we just need to be more about what we say we're about and go into the research.
Yeah, and I feel like the more that we, especially us, this generation I look at the youth as a powerful hub. Like, you put the right ideals into their minds, and they live these ideals, and they influence the youth. That is gonna become a wildfire of constant evolution within the generation. I mean, you look at the generation from our time, 80s to now. Like, each generation, these kids are getting smarter, they're getting more advanced, there's more technology, babies are on iPads. Like, I got nieces, they just turned 2, but they like 5 years older than mine, because they know everything. And it's really important for parents, regardless if you are a single parent or if you are a double parent household, to decondition kids from like the normal socialization that we grew up in, like the whole in like a gender spectrum society, the whole boy or girl thing, or like you have to be this way, you have to act this way, and you need to dress this way, or colorism, for example, you need to hang out with these people, avoid these people. Like, we need to not, continue to reiterate those ideals to our kids. We need to break those systems out of them and teach them to be independent thinkers, to liberate themselves and liberate other people from the control, because that's the only way that we will break the systems down is if we defy them, like, actively, and we reform it ourselves. And I believe a lot in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I love everything that she's doing right now for not just Brooklyn Queens, but in general for the masses in America, the kids. She's really out here pushing hard for young black and brown kids, and getting health care for people, and education, and equality, and community. It's like, that's important. That's very important. And this whole, my song is called 25 Rounds, but that song is really a message about the dilemma of gun control in this country. Like, we got a lot of kids nowadays. It's like, we love the gunplay song, the music, but it's, what is that really putting into the minds of these kids? Like, and it's the dilemma that I talk about is, if we live in, for example, if Trump were to put this country into martial law and take away any citizen's guns from us, they have all the weapons to use against us, so we're hopeless in that situation. But then they also have this agenda of these false flag mass shootings, and people like, oh no, we need to get rid of guns altogether. But the fact is, if we got rid of guns altogether, they would literally slaughter all of us, and there's no like win-win situation in this type of agenda.
Yeah, it's tough, man. If you think about the communities, right, it starts back with just taking back our communities as a start, right? If you look from when I was growing up, we had a bigger, deeper foot in our communities. We had boys and girls clubs. Kids weren't just roaming the streets all at times of night and stuff like that. We had things that kept them active and kept their minds. They got rid of everything. You understand? They got rid of all those stuff that kept it. And you got to think about it like this: like, how easy is it for them to, quote unquote, shut down and take away all the guns? I've seen them put up the police station right on the corner, and there's nothing going on for that time frame that's there. And they're showing that, hey, if we want to shut it down, we could, right? The minute it goes away, it's back and forth. But guns are easy accessible for us as minorities to get, right? You can get that snap of a finger, right? And then you got to think about everything that takes place after that, right? A lot of kids are being, at a young age, are being exposed and seeing a lot at a very young age, right? And it's in everything. It's right in front of us on our phones. It's on the newspaper. We're seeing a lot, and as kids grow up, like you said, it's embedded in their heads, and they see these stuff around it, and then they following suit to that, right? Like you said, you listen to music, we listen to some drill music. I even want to pick up a gun and get crazy now. Like, that's just me.
But I was gonna say, do you think it's a matter of technology? Technology is growing, so now people are more aware. Like, my son goes to, I don't want to say the school, but but he goes to a particular school that thrives on technology, and good behavior is basically saying, okay, if you behave yourself, we're gonna give you the iPad. So they say it's positive reinforcement, but is it really? Because what is he actually doing on the iPad? What is he watching on the iPad? I mean, I know they have restrictions on it, but still, it's technology. Too much of it, I don't think, is a good thing.
I feel like it's what's on the internet too. More than just technology being accessible, it's about all of the information that's on there, and a lot of it might not even be real information that's truth, but people believe in it, and people will move accordingly to what they read or what they see on the internet. And I've actually come across this tweet about these YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids has somebody basically try to tell kids how to commit suicide, like
What?
7 minutes into a video. So your kid might be right there watching this video on your iPad, and you'll look, you're monitoring, you're seeing nothing bad is happening, but it's not until you're kind of drifted away from your kids. 7 minutes into the video, a man came out on the screen and showed children how to slit their wrists, either to want
What?
attention or to actually impact themselves.
But you know that the rate for
That's
suicide
crazy.
is getting
It's
lower
getting-
and younger, right?
Yeah.
So it was like 15 and up at a point, and now it's down to 10. So
Like
you
a
got
10-year-old
10-year-olds.
just committed suicide.
Because remember, the internet's forever. So once something
Mhm.
goes on live, it's not like back in the day somebody beat you up. Nobody sees it. unless
Cyberbullying.
people are around.
Mhm.
Not
Right.
exactly. And then the comments are brutal behind that, and it doesn't go away. So it's like,
And kids are just getting meaner and meaner.
yeah.
I took my son to go get a haircut, and he was crying. I'm
Wow.
like, why are you crying? He's like, because they're gonna tease me at school because I got a haircut.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
man. See,
He's 7.
that's one thing that I feel like us, the older kids, we gotta take it into our minds. Like me now, when I hear certain things on the train between young groups, and I don't care. I would say something. Be like, yo, listen. You do you know what you're really saying? Like, you gotta let these kids know, man. Especially like they don't really listen to their parents. They don't really listen to the
Right.
adults. But if they see like, young kids like us that's really doing things, and they'll listen.
Right.
They'll listen. It's about us being the leaders for them, so
Yeah.
that they can be the leaders for the next generation.
And that's what we have to do. Everything that we do, people pay attention to it, right? Especially if there's kids growing up and their parents are not involved in their life. That's why people lean towards gangs and stuff, because they don't have, they
That
get that
family,
family
yeah.
from gangs. That's like a brotherhood or something, or a sisterhood. Us being out there, even in our music, even in the way we carry ourselves, and freedom of expression, you understand? Let's do it in a positive way, right? Like,
Mhm.
people always talking about your attire, right? Your attire is a form of expression. It's an art, how you carry yourself. There's not no wrong or necessarily right way to dress. You could put a killer in a suit, he's still a killer, you understand? So, it's like, so at some point in time, like, we have to take this generation coming up who's so smart and so, conscious of what's going on. We got to give them positive reinforcement. We got to kind of be the guidance behind them. And we have platforms like this because there's a lot of positive things going on, but they don't talk about it because negativity sells, right?
Exactly.
So we got to
Yeah.
push this and
Draw
go in the
ourselves.
forefront. We got to show us coming together and working together, whether it's making music or having events and things like this, and let's
Or
educate
doing a
each other.
podcast.
You see what I'm saying?
There's that gap.
Bridge that gap.
Bridge, talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been an artivist basically my whole life. Going back to acting as well, I'm part of Truth Worker Theater Company, which we focus on prison industrial complex and gender violence. And we perform all over the world to different audience members, right? And with that being said, my favorite group of people to perform for is my own. Not no white philanthropists that like, oh, okay, they're going to fund our, like, no. I really do get enjoyment for performing for people who need to hear this message. You know, the people who don't already know these things, the people who've been through the same things that I've been through. You know what I mean? And how if I can make a difference, if I can make that positive change, then you can too. If you've been through something traumatic, I've been through something traumatic too, but we can turn that trauma into art. And that's what Different is about. And I also, I referenced Colin Kapp actually in On a Mission Challenge too. Yeah. I said, united we stand, sit-ins a decision, only Colin Kaps get a pass, fuck the system, hate is hidden. Right?
See?
You feel me? It's like, okay, we're supposed to stand united, that's the Pledge of Allegiance, but really, what are we standing for? Are we standing with each other?
Mm.
Not.
No, because as soon as something go down, we scattering in different directions.
And that shit makes me emotional, honestly, because, like you said, there was a lot of people of my own color and community, a lot of black and brown people that sat there and watched the Super Bowl. And it's like, you know what's going on. You know what's going on with the system, and you're over here having a whole Super Bowl party, bringing your community together for something that's not even benefiting yourself.
People are so caught up in their own lives sometimes. It's like you said, they're aware of it, but they're not invested into it, right? So they're looking like, yeah, that's messed up, but I'm still gonna go to this party here and support it. So like you said, it's a big contradiction. I'm a big fan of Malcolm X, right? And something that he said was that
I could tell by the beard.
But yeah, something that he said that I thought about, right, is that everybody didn't want Trump in office, right? And I thought about it why he was saying back in the day that we needed a Republican in office. And it makes sense now because Trump is not hiding how he feels about all of us, right? And a lot of white people, they don't like that. You understand? Because Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they felt like this, but they're trying to mask like they're our friends and things like that.
Serve you gold shit, it still glistens.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
Exactly.
you know? It's gold shit, it's still gonna glisten, but at the end of the day, it's still shit in the middle of it. Like,
so
come on.
Think about this now. We have this here, right? And if you think about it, people are starting to come together. They're trying to, overcome what he's doing, right? This is necessary for us. This is not a time for us to be comfortable and sit there and to be like, yeah, they're looking out for our best interests, because they're not. They're blatantly saying in your face, like, I don't fuck with y'all. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't fuck with y'all. I'm about to change the system, and I don't care how it affects any of you, because it's all about the people that are rich and the people that are at top, right?
100%.
We have to come together at this time because it's there. We don't have any excuses now. What excuse? What, are we still thinking he's working with us? No, there's no agenda that he has that's working with us. So we sit there and we go to work, and we work for these people, right? And they're like, including myself, I worked for people and they sit down and they look at us and they determine what we're worth, right? But we're bigger than that, you understand? I'm worth more than whatever salary somebody's gonna toss at that, right? So I break your back for that. You see what I'm saying?
Can we talk about
Do
that?
what you love and you're passionate about. Come on, let's talk about it.
Because that's part of my other song that I perform is what's a 9 to 5 when I got millions on my mind, stingy with my energy, always on the grind. Like, why are we sitting in 9 to 5 jobs when we know we have the power to make millions? You're never gonna make no millions sitting on a 9 to 5. Like, these people don't care about you. The corporations make tons of money and you just get in the little change. The change.
You're an
And this
asset
goes
to your
back
liability.
to, I was going to say, this goes back to what I said on my Instagram page. I said, you can have that 9 to 5 job. Take that money, invest,
Yes.
Into the crowd.
and make your own.
One
Yeah.
problem I find with that, though, is a plan B deteriorates and distracts you from the plan A. And the 9 to 5, I'm actually a mortgage broker on the side because I can't really, right now, have the music make enough money to carry.
Very soon, though. Very, very
Very
soon.
Hopefully the manager's not
But
listening.
you always gotta have a plan A, B, C, and D.
I don't agree.
I agree with myself.
So let's hit a difference. Why do you feel the way you do and why do you feel the way you
I feel like if it's a do or die situation, if there's no other option to accomplish what you have, your plan A, then it's inevitable. It's like this needs to happen or else nothing will happen. And even if it means being homeless in a car or stranded on an island, you're determined to get plan A done. No other option.
So what you're saying is don't have a 9 to 5 and don't build
If it's getting in the
your
way.
own?
I mean, I would say if plan A means, the time that you spend at a 9 to 5 is going to get in the way of your plan A, then cut that out.
Then I wouldn't have 4 podcasts. I wouldn't be going to school. I wouldn't be a mom. I wouldn't be doing it all. I'm doing it all. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It depends on how you choose to use your 24 hours. How much sleep do you really need? How many times?
Self-care.
You just gotta figure it out. I took my kids to a birthday party today. I have a research paper that's due, and I'm here. And when I go back home, I'm still gonna be on my research paper, and I'm still gonna be doing stuff for Bridging the Gap, Nikki Marie Radio, and Sports Talk Radio. So I mean, it depends on how you choose to use the 24 hours that you're given.
Time
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I would never tell anyone that they can't have a 9 to 5, build capital, and do their own business on the side. It's possible.
It's about your ambition and your work ethic.
What
Right.
do you want? What do you
Right.
want? That's it.
I can understand both of you guys' points. I feel like he's saying it in a sense because if it intervenes, then you're going to lose focus because you're still invested. But I understand what you're saying. Exactly. You're saying you could balance it and you have a good balance because life is all about balance.
Life is
In
all
my
about the
case,
balance.
mortgage banking and music are like complete polar opposites. So that's why I have to get rid of that.
Okay.
In my
that makes
opinion.
sense.
I mean, I'm a
honestly,
financial aid advisor.
Yo, write some ebooks, man.
You feel me? Started that way. Yo, there's so much ways for us to branch out and to do things, right? We got the internet, you know, as bad as it is and what it does to us, let's utilize it. You know, let's take full advantage. Let's flip the table on it. Let's put the stuff. Let's flip the
That's his catchphrase right there.
Whenever good things happen, you flip tables. That's it.
Let's talk about it.
I'm so happy.
Wait, can we hear Nick's story? We haven't heard Nick's story.
What story?
Come on,
Oh,
nigga.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What about flipping tables?
About flipping tables,
I
about
think we got a few
music.
minutes to talk about your story.
Come on, yeah.
All right, well, I've been a musician basically since I was born. I grew up around all musicians, my mom and dad. My dad specifically, he was in a Motown band in Vietnam, and he played music. He played the keys in the Motown band. So he played music. He didn't know a single thing about music theory. It was all from his ear.
And soul.
And his soul.
Yeah.
Hey.
Damn, somebody should have said,
You said it. No, you know it.
If you saw him play, like, he literally would break a sweat. He'd be, like, like, his head is banging, he's jumping all over the place, and he's not even, like, looking at sheet music. It's all, like, improv. He has two stacks. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. He goes back and forth. But I mainly got my inspiration, and my why is to fulfill my purpose because he inspired me to be a musician. And ever since I was 8, I've been playing the piano. I started producing when I was 12. That was really just for fun because my friends thought they could rap. But seriously, I started taking production like about 5 years ago. I started in Fruity Loops, and now basically where I'm at now, I feel like this is where I need to be. About a year and a half ago, unfortunately, my father passed away. And that's when I was like, okay, this is where I need to like really take this rocket ship and take off.
Yeah.
Because one thing that he really wanted to see from me was to make the music work. I was in bands, I was a DJ, I was in a DJ trio. I always was doing something in music, but a lot of those avenues I was trying weren't really like working.
And they were in Long Island, but he's in
Yes.
Brooklyn now. Hey, Brooklyn love.
Okay, in the house.
That actually was the biggest transition was when I got introduced to a lot of city artists because she's right. I was working with a lot of people out here, and I don't know what it is, but something about their dedication out here because I think there's a lot of entitlement out here. People are more hungry. They want it more out in the city, and someone told me it's called the Big Apple because everyone wants a bite of it.
Wow.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. You know, and I know that we're coming down to the last couple of minutes, but before we leave here today, right, I wanted to ask y'all, right, being that we spoke about everything, right, and everybody that's tuning in and that's going to listen to this, right, we have to have an end goal after this podcast, right? Like, let's have an agenda. You know, we got a big year ahead of us. Let's push towards something and work towards something collectively that can inspire and uplift us. You know, what would be your last words for the people that were viewing and watching?
Well, I would say, yo, especially to the kids, whatever you're passionate about, yo, whatever you love doing, go after it. Don't matter if it's several different spectrums of art. For example, people always tell me, yo, focus on one thing at a time. I can't, because I'm not built like that. My mind is in too many creative places at once. That's why I'm writing animes, I'm drawing characters, I'm writing music, I'm producing music.
Must be an Aries.
Actually, I'm a Leo Virgo cusp.
See?
The Aries in me. Feels like you're,
The
yeah.
fire. Yeah, but nah, whatever you're passionate about, don't let nobody tell you to just hinder yourself. Explore all of it. Whatever you feel like doing on that day, in that moment, you do it. You write a poem if you want to, and then make a beat after if you want to. Like go out too and perform. Don't be scared to share your art. Let the world see you, because you're gonna thrive. And the more you believe in yourself and you put yourself out there, you're gonna get exactly where you need to be. Keep pushing.
Yes. I'm going to leave y'all off with 2 quotes. One is by myself. Let your soul be water and negativity be oil. And then another favorite quote from Pablo Picasso is, the meaning of life is to find your gift, but the purpose of life is to give it away. So make sure that you're always being generous with all that you do, taking care of yourself, but also be generous with your art. Like she said, you just got to show your work, perform, get yourself out there. You don't got to be perfect. We all in a process, and progress is infinite, so keep pushing. We on a mission. You already know.
Hey. Come on, Nick, before you flip the table, let me
I would say what I would leave everyone off with would be really just to keep doing what you want and make sure that you're also happy along the way. And every single day has to be something that's productive, because the one day that you don't do something that's propelling you forward is the one day that you probably missed the opportunity to do it. So I would just encourage people to keep focused, because
Facts.
that could be easily taken away, especially with all the distractions. I read a book called Outwitting the Devil, and right now 98% of the world is controlled by what I consider the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main reasons I think that is the case is because this technology and all of this stuff that's in front of us, but the people who are aware of what the enemy is will prevail and get to where they want to be.
Yeah. Real
Wow.
true.
Bridge the gap, baby.
Well, I would say the same thing I always say. You got 24 hours. Make them count.
Amen.
Okay. Yo, don't be scared to fail. You know, mess up, bump your knee, whatever it is. You know, there's